Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And so today's video, I kind of wanted to go in depth, not on just these two specific devices right here before you, but the entire series as a whole, as Samsung has its Galaxy A series and Google has the Pixel A series. And so one would think that they were going to be identical in exactly the vision that both respective brands were wanting to achieve with these devices and the series they belong to. But there is a difference, and that needs to be highlighted and told. So in this video, I am going to give you guys my thoughts on the Galaxy A series and how I, as a consumer, view the Galaxy A series versus viewing the Pixel A series. Now, to be upfront, the A could stand for many things, but a lot of us resonate that A with affordable. Getting a Galaxy device that's affordable and near flagship experience, according to some, and getting a Google Pixel that is close to a flagship experience. But I have always basically stated that the most current generation of the Google Pixel A series are flagship. With that said, let's get into it. I have the Galaxy A53. It is my favorite device from Samsung. Sure, there are newer Galaxy A models like the A54 and the A55 recently released, but the A53 I just enjoy using. This one is currently on Android 14, One UI 6.1, so it's got pretty much an update at this point. So using it would be kind of similar to the A54 and to the A55 minus a few subtle things. But with this device, you definitely can tell that it is mid-range. Through the cameras, through the software experience, it pretty much tells you that this is banging on a budget. But not a terrible experience. Now, a lot of it's going to resonate with the fact that this device has the Exynos 1280 chip, and so it's only capable of as much as it can handle, which, would be very subtle things, but it's not going to be a powerhouse performance type device. And the same could be said with the A54, and the same could be said with the A55. Generally, they work decent, but of course, the Exynos chip is one thing that I would say holds it back. Now, the Exynos chip is a chip developed by Samsung, so it's not like they're going to throw a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 series in a Galaxy A53 or anything like that. That's just beyond that point. As Samsung basically in the US uses Qualcomm-based chips. So it's a little different when you're comparing it to the Google Pixel A series devices that the most current generation of them use the same chip that the flagship brethren use, right? So the 6A uses the G1, same as the regular 6. The 7A uses the G2, same as the 7. And the 8A uses the G3, same as the 8. So you're going to yield a very, very different experience between both devices. The Galaxy A53 is no slouch when it comes to how I use my phones, so it's the reason why that I'm able to enjoy the experience that I get out of it. But I'm not blind to the fact that there are some things that I will notice from time to time that could be a caveat to some out there who take their smartphones very seriously. Like I said, the performance is where you're going to see a lot of the issues start to happen, especially if you're really heavily using the phone and using things like RAM Plus, which allows it to get more RAM just by converting some of that internal storage to random access memory, really doesn't help all too much. I haven't really noticed a drastic change if I was to enable it on and add, 6 GB of more RAM, or if I just completely turn it off and use the native actual built-in stock RAM. So the performance doesn't drastically change on that. However, the fact that, Samsung trying to give us something pretty decent with the Galaxy A53 and with the A series in general, makes it to where you can have a pretty good experience without paying so much. Now, the same can be said for the Pixel A series, but in my opinion, and I've always said this, people don't have to agree with me, but the current generations, right? So the 6A, the 7A, the 8A, all of them are budget flagship. They have just about everything that the flagship counterpart has, minus the fact that they're not built with a glass body. and maybe the wireless charging is a little bit slower. Those things, do not make a flagship a flagship. Even that it's, IP67 water and dust, instead of IP68, to me, it doesn't really bring that down. When it comes to the experience, the stock Android that's on the Pixel, coupled with the Tensor processor, really just kind of makes this phone outshine. With having a Google Pixel 6a, I don't feel like that I would be missing anything from the Pixel 6, as it brings just about everything that that phone offers as well. And so that's the key thing here. While Samsung tends to build you a relatively decent device and have cut corners to make the device affordable compared to their S series models, the Pixel A series kind of does the same thing, but the corners that it cuts is really just about the hardware build. But everything else, what you would get with the 6, you will feel with the 6A. There's not a difference, not a drastic difference that could be honed in on and highlighted so bright that everyone would notice it. And so that's the thing. That is the big difference between the Galaxy A series and the Pixel A series. One is to give you as close to a flagship as it can. The other one is a flagship, cutting out the things that really don't matter or don't really make a flagship. I'm sorry, but I cannot agree with the masses that a glass feeling phone is flagship. To me, flagship is something that performs really good. It's their best foot forward. Does it feel good to have a glass device? Yeah, of course. To some, the premium feeling is going to feel good in the hand. But that doesn't really, it doesn't match up with, how the phone actually performs. That's the big key takeaway here that I look at when it comes to the Galaxy A series and it comes to the Pixel A series. What are your thoughts?